We're starting the program, just waiting for the connection with Facebook to begin. Waiting into connection. And should be in a few moments. And then we'll test the audio especially. We are preparing for live stream. All right. And another few moments. And we should be live on Facebook, broadcasting from Zoom. Welcome everyone to tonight's broadcast on Midsummer Night's Dreams. Originally scheduled for last week, but due to the hurricane, the bad weather, and poor connections, we had to postpone the program for tonight. So far, things look like it's going well, but I will need a little verification, which means I need to hear from people out there who are viewing from Facebook to see if you can all hear me. So we'll take another moment or so for that to come through. I am looking through the system here, and I am on Facebook, obviously. So let's see about that connection. I am looking through the system here, and I am on Facebook, obviously. So let's see about that connection. So whoever's out there who's viewing me, if you can send a notice through the chat to let me know that you can definitely understand what I'm saying. And notice through the chat. So far, I'm waiting for that to happen. And let me see, I'm getting some comments. Thank you. And I see that I am being understood. Excellent. Very good. And thank you Renee, you appear to be new to the broadcast, so welcome. And you have several comments. Hello in return. Thank you for confirming you can hear me. And yes, so you've had some fascinating dreams lately. That is the part of the reason why we're doing this broadcast. We're talking about that, especially during this time period here, which is well known for heightened spiritual activity, and especially when it comes to the dream state. We are in midsummer, and midsummer happens to be a magical time. Things are stronger, heightened. There are several astrological configurations that are part of that experience. I spoke about a lot of that on my last broadcast relating to the Lionsgate portal, and that this particular month of August for 2021 was especially spiritually charged because of a lot of the linearity that was taking place with the stars, with the constellations, with the events that were happening. That was strengthening our metaphysical, spiritual abilities and connections. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well and delve into, the dream state and what it can mean as to why people are having extraordinary dreams or unusual or very strange, even disturbing, dreams for the past several weeks. So as we'll go into that, let's just check my connection once again. I make sure everything is up and running properly here. And it seems that it is indeed doing well. And that way I can tune in on my other connections here. Very good. Okay. And one more check to make sure. Okay, excellent. Excellent. So let me put this one at rest here. And very good. So far I have one individual, which is Renee. And let's see, as we just beginning the program, let's see who else joins in. Anyway, we're 5 minutes into program. Very good. So as I was saying, this month of August in particular, which is the beginnings of midsummer, here, have, all of this strange and powerful significance when it comes to things of metaphysical connections, heightened intuition, dream state, etc. We've had a lot of incredible experiences astrologically, commencing with the new moon, which was in Leo, and that was on August the 8th, in conjunction with the annual Lionsgate portal, which was also on the 8th. So we had a lot of firepower, since Leo is a fire sign, the strength and tenacity, working with this Lionsgate portal, also, which is an opening, for a higher level of consciousness, transformation, especially this year, because so much was aligning perfectly, again, with this new moon energy, along with the Lionsgate portal, happening basically simultaneously. So that added extra power, extra strength to this particular, year's celebration. A little bit prior to that, this began a little bit more like in July, because we have to remember that the sign of Leo begins on July 22nd. And right there, July 23rd to the 24th, we had our full moon falling in the sign of Leo, but the ruling planet there for the full moon was Aquarius at 1 degree, 0 to 1 degree. The fascinating linearity that happened this year also with this was that our full moon for August, which was on August the 22nd, so just passed a few days ago, also happened to fall at the very end of the sign of Leo, because Leo is active until August 22nd. However, because the full moon officially occurred in the Eastern Seaboard at 8:02 a.m., we were still under the auspices of the sign of Leo. So that was our second full moon in Leo. And in addition, it also fell in the sign of Aquarius. So we have all of this happening very parallel, relating to the signs and the full moons. Two full moons happening in the same sign, but yet also under Aquarius influence. Very rare. So this was also considered an astronomical or astrological blue moon because of that. Because of the linearity from July to August, the same signs. Very rare for this to occur. It's a great time of transformation, of growth. In the July case, it was a bit tumultuous, there. So some people felt a bit of dissonance, a time of discomfort. For others, it went very well, very smoothly. It was a very positive experience. They didn't experience too much of an emotional upheaval. For myself, I felt a bit of that emotional upheaval, a bit of dissonance, discomfort, being disconnected, certain things taking place that were rattling. But at the same time, there was a positive influence because I knew the significance of this, and I knew that this was basically a very strong, powerful time that we were entering. And a lot of times, these types of changes don't affect us in the best way, brings things up that are way within ourselves. And things that occur from the external world can, let's say, ring a bell internally on the subconscious level and cause things to stir up. And that's what basically happened during the July period into early August. In addition, with August 1st, I, also for the third year in a row, celebrate I wouldn't say it's a holiday, but it's something that my friend, spiritual, healer and practitioner, Carrie Pizzulo, from Ancient Magic and Modern Living, has called the 8 Days of Isis. So I started celebrating back in 2019 when I saw her start to present on the 8 Days of Isis and the significance this meant for her, for strong women's energy, empowerment from the goddess Isis, who in ancient Egypt was so revered and basically was so honored for everything, but a strong female deity. And she celebrates the 8 Days of Isis. So I learned from her back in 2019. And on a daily basis between August 1st and August 8th, she would present something daily, on her Facebook page, Ancient Magic Modern Living. And it was quite fascinating and it touched me. And somehow it caused something, it had significance for me. It awakened something in me. And ever since then, I too have taken to celebrate the 8 Days of Isis. So for the past 2 years, I've also presented some things, for those 8 days, on my Facebook page, the Angelus Colon Transpsychic Express, on the 8 Days of Isis. You can look back if you're interested on my page and see for those 8 days what I presented relating to the 8 Days of Isis. In addition, you can also check out Carrie Pizzulo's page, as well, and I'll post a link later on, here, later on in the chat room for you. So you can find out more about that from her end of things and her perspective, as well as mine. So there's a lot of spiritual energy, a lot of spiritual celebration going on, a lot of spiritual meaning with, the ancient goddess, with the full moon falling in Leo, with the Egyptian culture and its spirituality, having a strong influence this month, this is the way I feel it interpreted, and in relating to midsummer and the magic of this season. So this season is a period of transition. So for seasonal, it means that we're heading into the more quiet time, at least for this portion of things, towards the mid to end of month of August. We see signs of the encroaching fall season coming next month. We see here in the Northeast and in the northern regions of the world, that the sun is starting to set a little bit earlier, giving us signs that there's a season transition approaching us, and that the world, all vibrant and bright, will soon start to gradually start to become more dormant, more tranquil, more quiet. The dark period, the dark season is starting to come upon us. Right now, it's at the very early stages. In the next few weeks, we'll see that happening more prominently. So it's a strong period of transition. August has always been a very powerful month for the transitional energies, and we're starting to feel that now. Right now, towards the end of August, which tonight is of course August 27th, the energies have lightened up, fortunately, as opposed to the first 2 weeks of August and towards the end of July. There was a lot of tumultuous energy. We saw a lot of things happening in the world as well. We're seeing that now actually here. August has always been a very heavy month when it comes to things that are occurring on the world plane, as we see what's happening lately, for instance, Afghanistan and the situation there. We've seen people who are starting to pass, famous, prominent people, such as, for instance, the Rolling Stones, legendary drummer, Charlie Watts, who just passed away several days ago, unexpectedly. That, causes a worldwide, wake up of things. That's a person that we've known for many of us all of our lives, or for a good portion of our lives, because of the fame and notoriety that the band The Rolling Stone has since the 1960s. And we have a few other prominent deaths that have occurred also that shake us up. And during this period of time, that occurs, where people start to pass and start moving on to the next level of life. So we see a lot of that happening in the August month, very strong and powerful month. For us individually also, things can also be transforming, transitioning on different levels. And as I said earlier, we're more highly attuned to things also. So for the most part, where we receive a lot of that change, we get a lot of information and messages, are in our dreams. So for many people, we get a heightened sense of things, very vivid, at times even wild, unusual, even crazy dreams that occur. Those are very strong and powerful messages that we are receiving from the other side, telling us about what's going on in our subconscious, things that we have to deal with, that we have perhaps pushed away because of discomfort, things that happened to me perhaps long ago, that we really felt that we had dealt with, or we just don't want to think about anymore. We want to move on from that, or it's just too difficult for us to face. At this time period, this type of experience starts to happen, to awaken that in some way, even if we're not cognizant as to why. We get information, messages, things that may be prodding us. It can be very uncomfortable. It could be very delightful, actually, depending on how we view these dreams and these signs and messages. So I know for myself, usually around this time period, I get very unusual, dreams. And at times they can be very uncomfortable, even disturbing. I also get a lot of lucid dreaming around this time period as well. But the reason why for that could be also because I am so cognizant of what is happening at this time, that it is very, very much a focus of my thinking and my attention. And with that comes along a heightened awareness, even in the dream state, where I am already attuned to this, aware of it, and expecting it to happen. So it strengthens that type of experience in the dream state, for me. Perhaps it also does that for yourselves. You can, at times, call upon your dreams to be helpful, to you. And this is a way to really connect with that, with your inner psyche, or even with those on the other side that you can connect with, and they're trying to connect with you and be of assistance, offer you help, guidance, in the ways that they can, which is through symbols, messages, occurrences that happen in the dream state. This is the way they can bring their information, their help to you. It is up to you to see what is happening there, how you can decipher what these symbols mean, what these experiences in these dreams are trying to tell you. Things that you have to look at, things that you have to examine, that you have to really, even at times, as uncomfortable or even painful as it may be, have to take a look at. Always remember these things are there to be of help, to help flush this out of you, to help with resolutions, to things that need, that in your life. You need to put that at rest, and basically to free yourself from things that have been holding you back, perhaps, have been a burden, even have weighed you down in your regular waking life. So don't take this as a negative if it comes across that way, but it is a way to make you see what you have to examine and find a way to deal with it and resolve the issue or issues to set yourself free, have more of a sense of peace. Easier said than done, which is a term I've used for many other things, here in the program and during my entire existence in this world, also. So that just gives you an idea of what is happening for you. Now, I see that Renee has posted something here, and you have been drawing strange symbols this month out of the blue. Yes, I see. Well, if you can detail to me a bit more, Renee, about what those symbols are, perhaps I can be of assistance to you in interpreting and intuitively, tuning in, honing in to see what that may mean and relate to you, and hopefully point you in the right direction with some guidance and some illumination. All right, so please, write down in the chat, what this could be about. And I will do my best to tune in for you. So let's see, hopefully we'll get a few more people here with us. And that means I'm just tuning in my other windows here just to see what's happening, just to make sure. Let's have a look. And okay, so far I don't see anything here. Let me check my other, because I got like 3 windows going on simultaneously here. Okay, let's see. Just holding on a second. Okay, can bounce out of that one. And just looking for some more here. Let's see. Okay, got it. Very good. Very good. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Very good. All right, so I got that going here. So just checking it. And okay, no problem. Let me just come through here. So as I wait, for this to happen, here we go. All right, and here we go. Very good. So let's see if you can write something in, Renee. We'll see about interpreting that for you. In the meantime, as I was saying, sometimes our dreams can be very, very positive, very light, happy. You might be seeing people that you are currently, having relationships with or know in the dream. Others that you haven't seen perhaps in quite a while or so appear in these dreams. You could perhaps be seeing people that have passed on, whether from your life here, even though they're still alive, or have passed on to the next life. And they're coming through for you. And they come through in different ways. And through their actions, the symbols that are associated with them, what they do, what they show you. If you're fortunate enough, they may be speaking to you, and you may be able to understand what they are saying. You can pretty much, pick on that and interpret to see what the significance of these experiences mean for you. Is it something from the past? Is it something currently happening that perhaps they're trying to help you with? It could be pointing something to the future that you need to be, aware of and looking at, or a combination, of these things. And it's for you to like interpret what it means, how it's working. Remember, you're in a very highly intuitive state right now, or a very high psychic state because of this particular time period here. And especially with this year, as we're moving on to things. I'm just looking at my notes just to see if I missed out on any information I provided to you earlier here. And what's interesting for this year in particular, once again, is going back a bit to July when we had our new moon, there, or excuse me, our full moon, in Leo, as Leo arrived, basically, which was in Aquarius. It's interesting that it was in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the opposite sign to Leo on the zodiac wheel. So there's that linearity once again happening. It almost happens to be an air sign, which works very well with Leo as a fire sign. Those elements are very compatible. But also we have Aquarius associated with its glyph, its symbol, which is the water bearer. So we have the element of water also very prominent here. And water and fire do not mix, they're incompatible. So we have a dissonance happening here, and especially this is more apparent in July. Or as I said earlier, some people are experiencing some discomfort, dissonance. That's the way of looking at it, interpreting it. Another way is also that, but it's also Aquarius is an air sign, which works very well with fire, and it's also a mental sign. Aquarius is of the air, so that's the mind. And of course, Leo is of the fire, and air and fire work very well together. Fire can be considered as strength, power, also. So it could have been a time of illumination for you. Your dreams heading into this season also started to heighten because the full moon is emotions. It's associated with water once again. So it could have been a very emotional time period for you also, but also it activated your dreams even more. So we have to look at it that way, too. I hope that people are able to write in here, because so far I only have the same comments I've been seeing for a bit here. So I hope that, if you are writing, please forgive me because I'm not getting those comments at this moment. Let me see if I can try another way of looking at this and see if I can improve upon that, or refreshing the window. So let me see. Okay, so yeah, there's an echo happening. Sorry about that. I don't know where that could be coming from, but hopefully, I've already tuned out one of the other windows. So hopefully it'll improve. Oops. So hopefully it will improve, the sound, so you don't hear that echo happening. So Renee, if you didn't hear me the first time, if you can tell me more about your symbols, please write into the chat window what exactly are the symbols that you have been drawing. So that way perhaps I can give you some interpretation of what that can mean for you intuitively as well, psychically, what I pick up for you, there, also. So hopefully you are understanding me now much better, and we'll see what's happening here. And I see that Mary has joined as well, or at least is reacting. So thank you for that, Mary. If you have any dreams that you'd like me to interpret for you, please write that down in the chat window in the comments section. You can see that there. And I'm just scrolling between one window to another to see what happens here. And okay, very good. So I got that there. Okay, excellent. So in the meantime, let's see if I can make it a bit easier for all of you also. And I'm just going to tune out a little bit and back to Facebook here. In the meantime, and see what I see here. If not, hold on for a second. Let me just go back to my main here and see if I can provide a little help to you here. So for those of you who might be interested in joining me on the Zoom platform, I've just put in the invitation there with the meeting ID and passcode. So that way you can join me on the Zoom platform and utilize the chat window there. if you wish to have that, to your disposal and see if that's easier for you to put in your comments, etc. So I've just put that in here for you to see. And let's see if anybody comes in at that time. Okay, very good. So here we go, perfect. So we'll wait and see here. So a lot of these elements are affecting us in our psyche, affecting us, our sensitivities, our intuition, our psychism, our mediumship even. We may be seeing and connecting with our loved ones who have passed on or those who are of interest to us. We're receiving their information through our dreams, or perhaps we're experiencing it other ways, whether through touch, through sight, through hearing. All of our senses are very heightened at this time. But usually for the majority of people, it is through our sleep because we are at rest. We're comfortable. In a sense, we let our guards down, and we're able to heighten our energies as we sleep and move from alpha state to beta state. And in the beta state is where we can connect easier with those in the other realms. Again, whether those who have passed, our guardians, our spirits, our angels can come through, provide information. Our energy is heightened. They're able to lower theirs. We have stronger, more vivid, more vibrant, more meaningful connections and dreams. And they're usually, of course, more memorable. Also. And sometimes we can have something that's more than a dream. It could be more, let's say, in the realm of a vision quest, something that's more significant because of the vibrancy of that dream. The quality is so much more clearer, stronger, more powerful. It provides a clear, concise experience, a message, a happening, almost like a film taking place, and we're part of it. That when we awaken, we remember it with such clarity, with such vividness. And we know that there's something that has happened to us. We know that we've been somewhere else. And we look at that experience and we see what happened. We see what took place, what conversations may have happened, what were the experiences that happened there, how that relates to something or things here. It provides us answers to questions. It gives us warning, even if that's necessary or what's to come, that we take heed. It provides guidance, as I said. It can also be precognitive, where things that may be coming, things that may be happening, maybe not in the exact same way as in the dream state, but it makes us more aware and more alert of something or things or events that may be coming our way. Sometimes it may be a few hours, a few days, a few weeks, or farther out in the future. But it heightens our awareness to be alert, to watch out for them. All of that can transpire here during this time period. So I'm just waiting to see if I get more of a response here. And let me just come back here once again to my other section. Open that up for a moment. See if anything's coming through. All right, so far, no. I do hope that in the meantime, what I have been talking to you about has been of interest, meaningful, educational, that it touches upon you, that it has some sort of significance to what may be happening for you at this time period. Something to look out for in the meantime. And let's see, I'm just trying to get it once again here, see what's happening. Again, with our technologies lately, things are not always, under the best control here. So I am doing the best I can, with this here, see what's up. And let's see, here we go. All right. So let's see. If for some reason things don't come through that well, please, just write in the chat window, and once the program is over, I will look through the chat window and see what you have written, because sometimes it happens that way where things freeze a bit. But once the program is over, then I look again. Once it reloads the system, and then all these comments, come out. So I will look at your comments, see what you said, and of course I will answer you, whether in comments or else I will send you a comment in Messenger here also. So rest assured, you will receive your answers to any questions you may pose this evening. And you can always connect with me, regularly on my page, the Angelus Colon Transpsychic Express as well. So, if you have any further comments or whatever, you can check out there. Let me see. I'm going to try also to put my friend, as I told you, Carrie Pinsulo, her connections and her page, if you're interested in finding out more about her and what she does. So let me just add that link for you. And I'll get that to you in a moment. And she has a lot of wonderful information that's from the ancient beliefs, cultures, religions, spirituality, but it is placed in modern, times, what's relevant for today. So she's quite brilliant and quite knowledgeable about many, of these aspects. So you will find her connection, her page, quite fascinating, here. So let me just get that link for you, and I will post it for you, there. So let me just come back here for a moment, come back to myself. So you can bring that to you here. Let's see. Okay. I know I'm manipulating all these windows simultaneously, just fabulous. Let's see, put that here, see if that comes up. And putting it on Zoom first for anybody who's watching that on Zoom. But let's get that on Facebook Live. So I can get that for you here some way. Very interesting. Okay, so you're gonna post that down here. Hopefully you'll get to see that. Here we go. Okay, and here we go. And away we go. Hopefully that'll come through. Okay. And I do hope that came through for you here. If not, I'll just post it again after program is over. Like I said, technology has been quite fascinating the way it works lately. So let me see if I can see that here. Okay, good. So we're coming too close to the conclusion of tonight's program. So here we go. I did place that there for you to see. So you can find out about her, and what she does also. And there we go. And I say I have 8 comments. Let me see if we can get those 8 comments to appear for me. Here we go. Okay. Okay. I have a little bit more, but again, just, write your comments, write your dream experiences to me, and I'll answer you afterward, okay, once program is over. Since things are happening here. But that's an unpredictability of this time period, because we also have Uranus very strong with us at this time. Aquarius is ruled by the planet Uranus. So Uranus is known for its genius, but it is also known for its high unpredictability. And we've certainly been experiencing that a great deal, here in the last month, with that. That's why the energies were, in a way, kind of like in conflict. We think positive for some people, negative for others. It depends on your astrological sign and your other planets that you have with you, the other signs that fall into the other planets in your chart. So for some, there's more compatible elements going on, and for others, there is not. A lot of that is based with the Uranus influence and Saturn as well, which for a while there was giving some trouble, also, especially during the Leo period, here. Of course, right now things are starting to resolve more, and we have now moved into the time period of Virgo as of August 22nd. So we're having more grounded experiences, more groundedness energetically. We may feel more like our regular selves once again, gradually coming back, to that once again. And towards the end of this month, and we're getting close to that, we will feel a change for the better. A lot of people for a while, including myself, for the last 2 weeks or so, were feeling very much out of sorts. I can only speak basically for myself, was feeling not really in control of me. I was feeling, what is happening? I feel like I'm floating almost. I'm not feeling like I'm here. It was very uncomfortable. I felt like I was not myself and feeling out of control and not really here, but in a way like outward somehow. Something was happening. That's the recalibration that happens during this time period. And for people who are not that familiar with this, it can be even frightening. For me, it was just highly uncomfortable, as I know for several other friends of mine, who are also spiritually oriented or those who are not so much into it. But they were feeling, a great deal of discomfort, even fear, having experiences, through the dreams or other ways that were, highly unpleasant, showing great discomfort, not knowing what to do about things. Their thinking wasn't as clear and very uncomfortable, which can happen during this time period. The dreams were very disjointed, very erratic, things that didn't make sense more than usual. And it was like trying to put those things together and making sense of it in some way. For others, it was that they don't know what to do with this. So they're like wondering what's going on. Am I losing my mind? And it's not, it's just what we're experiencing right now at this time period. Rest assured, all of you, that this is starting to diminish and things are getting better. You may be already feeling that you're more in control, feeling more like yourselves once again, feeling more in control of your mind and your perspective to things and how you're reacting to things and to others. So it's a gradual process. So with September, we're going to get more of a quiet time, more comfortable, a bit more relaxed. It's towards the beginning. I understand we have a powerful and wonderful new moon coming up. I do believe it's September the 6th, and that should be in the sign of Virgo. And things there will be much more rational, clearer for us. It apparently has some good elements happening for the sign of Virgo, obviously, because it is their time period, this is their power time, but it touches upon the rest of the 11 signs of the zodiac as well. So we're having a nice rest period. And then after that, I'm sure we're going to experience a bit more of the transition phase of things, as is usual during this time period. I remember that last year, even though we were in the height of the pandemic or so, things weren't so bad. There was a more positive feel, which was a bit unusual, for this transitory feeling between August through September. I remember at least for the last 5 years prior, things were very, very uncomfortable, very tumultuous during the midsummer to late summer period. And this a great transition experience. And there was a lot happening to the world, a lot happening to people, also individually as well as in groups and society. And it was a very challenging, time, personally as well as in society. Last year we had so much challenge because we were still in a very strong period with the pandemic. Yet it almost seemed like we had a bit of a respite there when it came to this annual transitory state from moving from summer into fall. So it's a bit more positive feeling in the air, not so heavy for a lot of people. A lot of people are feeling like even some positivity, some good experiences happening during that time where things were lightening up a bit in regards to the coronavirus, COVID-19, there in some ways. And so we had an easier time of it in one sense, in regard to the metaphysical and spiritual, concerns. Let's see what happens with the next few weeks here, how it goes for us this year. And see, it's all unpredictable. Uranus is very much, dominant still. So even I right now can't get a very clear sense of what is happening the next few weeks. So far, I am enjoying this period of returning back to feeling more normal. And I know that that's in the air, so the rest of you should be feeling similarly also. Let me know if you indeed feel any positive changes for you. I'd like to know. I'll certainly address that, and if you message me or here in the chat window or so, I will respond to you. Also. So the key here is to examine your dreams. See what is happening. Write down in a journal, in a diary, things that are outstanding. Look back on it. See what you can do to interpret that, as well. If you like, there are 2 wonderful books that I have utilized. And I posted that last week when we tried to make the program. You can look into that. That link is still there. I left it there for that reason. If not, I'll post that again here in chat for you as well. One is called The Dream Book by Bethards, one of the most excellent books on dream analysis. Many years out there and recognized by even other dreamologists as one of the finest books ever written on dream interpretation and analysis. The other is the Cloud9 Dream Dictionary, also. And the author, I do believe her name is Sandra Thompson. And that is another staple, of dream analysis works that many people use as a Bible, to look into when it comes to interpreting, their dreams. Both books are excellent. They give you a wide array of different forms of dreams and their definitions and what the meaning can be, how to look at them also. And you get like thousands of dreams there you can interpret. As well with the writings of both authors, they advise on how to look at dreams, how to examine these things. And of course, they're experts for decades. So they're the right people to connect with in these books. I will post those links there later so you can look at these books. And if you're interested, you can even purchase them through a site like Amazon, for instance. And I'll usually post the Amazon link. And it's always good to have a dream book, a dream journal, a dream book from authors of expertise in this realm so that you can look and learn more about this, and your own dream diary or journal, that when you have interesting, outstanding dreams or visions even, as they can be called, which are a little bit more than a dream, it's an experience. You can jot that down. Usually as soon as you wake up, it's always best to jot down what you experienced, even if it's just a few words or so. It doesn't have to make that much sense, just so you don't forget the content of what you dreamed. Because if you go back to sleep later on, a few hours later you wake up, you may not recall everything that occurred in those experiences, which can be quite frustrating because you may have missed out on certain elements or so. And sometimes, if you relax or even make an effort, you can recall certain experiences that happen. Certain things may come back to you, but sometimes things can get lost. And the key here is not to lose any of that content, especially the most significant and meaningful. So as soon as you wake up from that type of experience or event, please have a diary next to you and a pencil or a pen and write down as much of the dream as you can. Date and time also, if you can manage that as well, very important, because that way you can look back later on, you can revisit, in the future and see if things manifest later on that connect with those dreams. And then you can compare and contrast, and you can see the timing, what date it was, even where the moon was, what astrological sign was prominent, what was significantly happening for you around your regular life, your waking life, during that time period that could tie in to these dream experiences, symbols, and messages. And you can learn to interpret and see for yourself what this means for you, how it helps you, how it can help resolve problems, situations, illuminate you, and resolve things from years ago, decades ago. Very important. It also helps you become a better dreamer. Where when you dream again in the future, it'll be stronger, brighter, more vivid, stronger, for you. And it raises your senses, heightens your intuition, heightens your psychic sense and abilities. So all of this is relevant for you. So this is a time period right now in midsummer in the area of dreams to do this, to heighten your awareness and your spiritual abilities. So I do hope you write down comments here in the chat or so. I'll be looking at that afterward. As I said, if anything significant that you need to know about, certainly I will answer you. You can also messenger me on my page, which is the Angelus Colon Transpsychic Express, where this presentation is coming from through Zoom, okay? I appreciate if you could also join and like my page as well, so you can receive regular, updates on things that are fascinating and interesting in other areas of the metaphysical. And also I can update you as to what I am up to as well, programs that are coming up, for the future through Metaphysical Communion. I will be doing more weekly broadcasts starting in September. I've been taking off the summer for a bit, but coming to September, which is the high spiritual season for those of us in the metaphysical, worlds as practitioners or so, September, October, November, December is our strongest season to provide, readings, connections, events. Even though through the pandemic, some of us are starting to work more heavily again, also back there out in the public once again. For me right now, I'm still, broadcasting, as you can see here through this program, but I also do readings as well for individuals and or groups. So you can contact me either, through Messenger, or else I have my schedule up, for readings that you can look into on my page, that you can, connect there and send me a message if you're interested in a private one-on-one reading or group reading. So you can, petition for that on the calendar there. It's right there in the very beginning of my page. You can also email me if you like. Also, my email and my contact information is provided, on my page as well. So whatever way is best and more comfortable for you. There's always a way to reach me, okay? And finally, for those of you who might be interested, I also have a YouTube channel called also Metaphysical Communion. So you can look into YouTube and check my channel, Metaphysical Communion, and you can see many of the broadcasts that I have done in the past year, there from season 1, which began on April the 1st, 2020, at the height of the pandemic. It was a way to offer support and just encouragement for people during the very height of the pandemic. That's how this program began, and through Facebook Live, and then through Zoom, and now my own channel on YouTube. And you can review all or many of those programs I posted in the past year there on a variety of subjects and things there. I occasionally also do live readings through Metaphysical Communion here on Facebook, as well as through that channel. So again, starting next month, I will resume doing evenings of spot readings, for the audience out there. And those seem to go very well. We get a lot of people tuning in for those programs. So stay tuned for that. I will be posting, beginning next month. All right. So just to give you an awareness of what's coming up. And at this time, we're going to conclude this program. Thank you for those of you out there who are watching. And I'll address, through chat for any of you who left any comments or so. And just stay tuned on my page or, again, through Zoom. And I'll be posting as to my next appearances. At this point, it will be in September. All right, just to let you know. But I'll be posting, I'll be notifying you through my page here. And then you'll know. If you're interested, just join in, okay? So thank you so much for joining me this evening. I hope that the information I provided to you, as always, has been educational, illuminating, and that it helps you in learning more about your dreams, more about how they work, more about this incredible time period here in August and all the wonderful connotations that are coming up in regard to this as well, and how you can attune yourself more. You can also shoot questions to me as well, and I will address them to you as well, okay? And one last thing, let us also remember, this is for me in particular, that this is the month of Cleopatra, also as I call it, because in 69 BC, or actually, I'm sorry, 30 BC, is when Cleopatra, concluded her time on Earth. It is stated that around the year of 30 BC, around the time period of August 10th, 11th, or 12th, Cleopatra left this world. And that was basically the end of the pharaonic period of Egypt and its reign. So Cleopatra is very significant to many of us in the world. As we know, she is legendary. And her energy was very powerful and very strong. And so strong that it resonates to this very day. And she too has an important connection with August and with Egypt and with all of the spirituality happening at this time as a strong woman of power. And she was a daughter of the goddess Isis. And as I spoke earlier, we celebrated the 8 days of Isis in August, 1st to the 8th. So there is Cleopatra's connection right there as a daughter of Isis, as a devotee of the goddess Isis. We have that connection too. Cleopatra was considered also as well as a mother of Egypt. She was a very great queen, and she ruled very well for 20 years in Egypt. And so she, of course, had that tremendous fame for so many things, positive and some things not so positive. But she is revered, remembered, and was a woman ahead of her time. So I celebrate that as well also. And I'll be posting a bit about that on the page as well, the celebration to Cleopatra. You'll see that she's my cover, the page, here as well, on the Angelic Column Transpsychic Express for the next few days. And I'll be posting, I think around August 30th, about, her day and her significance and meaning as well at this time. So again, thank you to all of you for viewing the program. And hopefully this has helped you in some way and continues to help you for the days and weeks and thereon to come. With that one, I bid you a wonderful good night, blessed weekend, blessed week, well, blessed towards the end of August, and I'll see you again in September, okay? So have a happy, wonderful midsummer, and as always, blessings to all of you. So good night.